Welcome to another edition of Highliner News. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Kinley.
This year there has been more ice than snow.
Reporter Shelby Mulder checks in to see how students and staff were affected by this Christmas ice storm.
What did you do during the winter ice storm and how did it affect you?
So during the ice storm, I was out of power for about 6 days. We didn't have a lot of heat or a lot of food, but it was okay. We lived, went to some hotels, and our Christmas break wasn't totally ruined.
Well, during the ice storm, we were at my grandma's house in Buffalo, and we got stuck there, and so we were there without power, and it got out of power around 11 o'clock. But we were there without power, and then as soon as we were able to go home, our house was out of power for the next about 2 weeks.
There were a lot of trees in my neighborhood that had branches that fell.
Without power for 10 and a half days. We do have a generator. So we're able to run, some basic needs. We did get our fireplace going almost 24/7, so that was kind of busy for us. I did have my father-in-law and mother-in-law move in with us, along with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and their 2 children. So we had a total of 5 dogs. And 8 people in my home. We kind of found our love for games again. So we got back into playing games as a family. One of our major plays was Clue. And we played a couple serious games of Clue. So we made our time fun. And we were very excited to see the trucks behind our house fixing the downed poles the first evening we came back from school. So. Yeah.
I was in Minnesota celebrating Christmas with my parents during the ice storm, but I came back and the ice was all falling off the trees.
I wasn't home when it happened. I was staying in town, but I know at my house, our power was out for a while and it went on and off.
Well, I actually wasn't here. I was at home in Wahpeton spending time with my family, and so got to read books, watch movies, same kind of thing you probably did.
So I have a brother and sister, so we were just sliding on the driveway the entire time, and I had to go home early from my family up in Berthold, which is by Minot.
I lost power off and on, and I have a little generator I had to use. And then it got so cold that my truck would not start one day, and my dad had to come give me a jump to start my car.
So over the ice storm, I had the pleasure of being in Texas. And so I just got to listen to all my friends text me telling me that things are going down and that the power is going out. But luckily, I was in 80-degree weather on the beach. So.
Reporting for Highliner News, this is Shelby Mulder.
Ever wonder what goes on in robotics?
Reporter Brenna Mulder brings you the story.
Robotics is building something and coding something to get a specific job done.
Challenges that come with robotics.
For our robotics, we have very specific game skills that have to be accomplished. And, getting your thoughts from how you want it to work in here into a physical thing, and then coding it to do it exactly what you thought it could do in your head and getting it done in physical actuality that's a challenge.
There are many steps before a robotics tournament.
The beginning days of robotics, everyone is, building their robot and maybe even building a second robot a couple weeks in because they've got a better idea. And then at some point, like now we're towards the end, everybody has their robot they're going to use. And now we kind of work on skills, almost like a basketball practice where they work on layups for a while and 3-point shots and free throws. And we're working on our specific skills of how many blocks can you pick up, how fast can you do it, how can you, knock these over while incorporating that. So there's a lot of just driving skills that we're working on just to perfect things because they only get 1 minute on the field at the elementary and junior high stage and only 2 minutes at high school. So there's a lot of little skills that we're trying to improve at this point.
It's time to put your skills to the test.
Kids everywhere, just fast and furious building their robots because they come and compete and they'll have probably 6 different qualification rounds. And in between their rounds, they can go back and make a quick improvement. So it's a very intense day. At the end of the tournament, especially the way the junior high tournaments are run and elementary tournaments, there's a score to beat. So they have to, they start with teams that finish towards the bottom, and they go first and establish that score to beat, and then it just builds and builds, and the score gets higher and higher, and then those last couple teams are just trying their very best to build that score. So the whole atmosphere in the gym just gets really intense, and it's really fun.
Robotics can be very rewarding for the coach.
Just seeing success. The kids, some kids that don't succeed in other areas can find great success in robotics, and that's really fun to see.
Reporting for Highliner News, this is Brenna Mulder.
You've heard about DECA Week, but what really is DECA?
Reporter Alyssa Thompson finds out about this school activity.
DECA's been at VCHS for at least 25 years. I've been here 10. I've been an advisor for 13 total years. We travel, we compete, we gain leadership skills, we do projects, we present, we do all sorts of stuff. I've traveled so many places with DECA. Austin, Milwaukee, Bismarck, Fargo, Minneapolis, Salt Lake City, Orlando, Anaheim, Nashville. Yeah, lots of places, which is really cool because, in a just a typical teaching job, you don't get to do all that travel. So it's fun to go new places that I wouldn't have gone on my own. So that's fun. I just think that in DECA you gain so many real life skills. You learn how to present. You learn how to put projects together in like a meaningful way that executes from beginning to end. And I think along the way, so many students gain so much confidence in like what they can do. I just think that DECA for anybody is great because I think that I see so much growth in kids from like the first day of class and just classroom stuff and their first, interactions with projects and whatever to like the end of the year. Their growth is just, I don't know, it's crazy how much they gain in confidence and all those things.
I enjoy DECA because it's something a little bit different. It's not necessarily like a team's activity or an individualized one, but definitely if you decide to be in a team, you become really close to that person. You end up kind of thinking the same exact way, and if you guys work really well together, you can really accomplish anything. Katie was my partner last year and this year and forever because I feel like there's nobody better I could be with to successfully yap for 10 minutes or less.
I like DECA because it's a good opportunity to go out and meet new people and also learn about the business world.
I like DECA because I get to meet new people and miss school. I enjoy DECA because I just like being with my friends and applying business to my life for my future.
I like DECA because you get to meet a ton of new people and you get to compete and you just get to have a lot of fun while doing a lot of fun stuff and you get to learn a lot about business and marketing. I think it's really fun because you can do DECA when you're like a sophomore as long as you're taking a marketing class, so you get really early experience, which can gain you a lot of opportunities and success when you're young.
Reporting for Highliner News, this is Alyssa Thompson.
VCHS had a special guest last week.
Reporter Carter Haas brings you the story.
On February 8th, in the Highliner Activities Center, a magician, a leader, and an inspiring man came to speak for our Highliners. But let's get to know him a little better.
Yeah, I had a great time, growing up, even though I faced challenges like bullying and stuff like that, but it was kind of me versus me in the sense of when I injured myself in high school and, lost these college scholarship opportunities and kind of everything shifted. It kind of created this rift in my life. Instead of focusing on like what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, I was focusing how I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel happy, I wanted to feel comfortable and safe, and so that's what I chased, and I never looked back. Resilience I think is very important in the fact that it's not the events that happen to us that make or break our success, it's the way that we deal with them. The way that we respond to events is just more important than the event itself. Things seem very calm here, which is cool, and I've spent only a little bit of time here, but the junior kindergarten through 6th graders are like super well behaved. I think you guys have a lot of great opportunities, a lot of cool things that you can come back to, and it's definitely a good way to grow up.
What did we think about today's presentation?
I actually really liked it. I feel like it's important for someone to share their testimony from a perspective from someone who has actually been through very similar instances that I feel like people in this school have.
Reporting for Highlander News, this is Carter Hass.
Next week is Snow Week.
Reporter Ada Gilbertson explains what is happening each day of the week.
Starting off the week on Tuesday is PJ Day. Wear your comfiest pajamas. Activities on Tuesday include Varsity Girls Basketball Regionals in Fargo at the Shack, and boys basketball will be at home against Hillsborough. Wednesday is Hawaiian Day. Dress for a day in the sun. Varsity Girls Basketball Regionals will be in Fargo at the Shack. Thursday, we will rhyme without reason. Get together with your friends and rhyme until the end. That night, the annual Powder Buff volleyball game will be held in the Hack. Friday is Highliner Pride Day. Boys basketball will be at home versus Wahpeton. Saturday is the Snowball Dance at 8 p.m. Activities that day include junior high and elementary robotics in Grand Forks, as well as speech at Cheyenne High School. Reporting for Highlander News, this is Ada Gilbertson.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Highlander News. I'm Kinley.
And I'm Alyssa.